Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life.
It's Wednesday.
I had a very troubling conversation.
January 7th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real on Reverend Al Sharpton, or Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton, I should say. Very good morning to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can join the conversation and be heard nationwide by calling us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on our message board, on our message page at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, then put in to live stream and send us a message. I see Mayor Rodney Jones is already on the board saying the first hump day of excuse me, first hump day of 2026. Glad to see you on the case, Mayor Rodney Jones and Demetrius Jones saying, good day, Reverend Al. Let us please not get distracted from the Epstein files. They're trying to distract us, the president, I mean. And I think that when we saw it come out last night, I must have swallowed something. When it came out last night that they had 2 million documents that we still haven't seen, no telling what is in these documents. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about other issues that's on our mind and our hearts. There's a shooting by Department of Homeland Security ICE agent in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It says that they shot and killed an Indianapolis demonstrator while fleeing for his life, saying the demonstrator was trying to drive him a car into him. Of course, activists on the ground saying something different. We're monitoring that. It seemed to me that there's a lot of questions about that. And this is around where they were raiding the areas around deportation. And we see on global news, the United States seizes a Russian-flagged oil tanker linked to Venezuela after a week-long pursuit. And they've been after this tanker for a while. And there's a lot of talk about now the United States wants to go into Greenland. Now, what is interesting to me is they haven't settled on what they're going to do in Venezuela. They took the president out, flew him out, arrested him in his home, have him up here, Metropolitan Detention Center, where I've been for civil rights work. Now there's debate on whether they're going to work with the vice president of Venezuela or whether they're going to work with opposition leaders who legitimately won the election last time that they had the election. So before you even settle on what you're going to do with Venezuela, now you're talking Greenland, and Trump saying that they had a right to do it, and Rubio saying, well, maybe we'll buy it, and it's not for sale, so how you going to buy it? So there seems to be this global Monroe Doctrine kind of ethos floating around this White House, that they think they can do what they want to do when they want to do it. Or there's an endless litany of distraction. Let me put it that way. Some of this is just distraction. And I think it is something that we need to be careful that we don't bite the bullet here and keep going from one distraction to another so the Epstein files never come up and they put us in a sense that we're in a national emergency, so it helps them with the midterm elections. Let's be very careful. Trump went yesterday to the Republican members of Congress and said that they must win the midterm elections or they're going to impeach him. Says the Democrats that if they win the midterm elections, he says that I will be impeached. We've also already heard words that the Steve Bannon said if the Democrats win the election, we're all going to jail. So there's clear fear from people as high up in the MAGA world as Trump and all the way through it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the continued assault on voting rights by them trying to redraw these district lines. I'm going out next week starting a HBCU tour. First kickoff, I'm going to speak at the convocation at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania because I'm trying to get a lot of our students lined up, and we're going to talk about that today for this tour till we get our students lined up to be civilly involved. I'm not going to tell them who to vote for, but I'm going to register them to vote. We are sitting here like the Affordable Care Act has not been expired, and there's still nothing on the table to remedy how people's premiums are going to skyrocket. I think that we're sitting here with the absolute unequivocal way that people are trying to, in many ways, minimize not only our right to vote, but our right to employments and contracts by eliminating DEI. There's so much at stake here, and so little of us that are putting any effort into doing anything about it. So let's talk about the global picture, the national picture. I want you to weigh in. This, at the end of this month, to be exact, 20th year of Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. We've been on 20 years this month. And I'd like you throughout the next week or so into the anniversary, also tell me your favorite and or your most memorable Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton show. In 20 years, we've had everybody on this show from James Brown and Aretha Franklin to President Obama to President Biden to Kamala Harris. You name them. What is your favorite Keeping It Real show? I'm going to start it today all the way through our anniversary. But also let's deal with the issues of the day. Let's get ready to take a break. Keeping It Real. Sharpton, be right back. Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all no King's marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to paper for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attended convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration. despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you. We need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year. And be focused. Our theme this year is we're going to straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797, or twitter.com, The Rev Al, or you can go on our message board and send in a message. I'll read as many as I can. And I see Antrice one is saying ICE agents shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. I just said that. It's an ICE agent killed. They're saying it was a woman in a car. They're claiming she was using the vehicle to kill them. We do not know that. We're talking to people on the ground. If ICE wasn't there in the first place, we wouldn't have the problem. They should not be there, in my opinion. And but to shoot a woman is on its face terrible, particularly if you're saying you're an agent. There should be more than the way of just shooting someone. What about shooting at the tires? I don't want to make a preliminary judgment, but we're definitely looking into this. And I see Ronald James puts on our message board, I think President Trump may be right on the Venezuela issue. They don't have the resources to take care of business like it need to be taken care of, and all of the Latin Americans run to the USA. Well, Ronald, the question is that if it is our job to take care of every country that you say, and for that matter, Trump says, can't take care of their business, then somebody needs to take care of ours, because we are with record unemployment, inflation is high, and we see all over the country that people's health care premiums is now skyrocketing. So I don't know how we can justify going to take care of somebody else's country that we think can take care of theirs when we are not doing such a great job ourselves. All of the polls are saying that people have lost confidence in which way the country is going. Even Republicans are saying that. So we're saying that people ought to come in and grab this country. Let's be careful what we normalize. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNB, MS Now. This Saturday and Sunday, we're on live both days, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll certainly be dealing with the ICE agents killing in Minnesota. There's also one in California that we're looking into. I believe it's Porter. And our chapter in Los Angeles is looking into that. So make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Want to be vigilant on these and other issues, as well as what's happening with the Affordable Care Act, as well as what's happening with the Epstein files, as well as what is going to be the future of Venezuela and others. So I think that we have a lot to talk about. And I think that it is absolutely imperative. So watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern this Saturday and Sunday on MS Now. Then you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And you that cannot get to New York, be watching online at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can go to Impact Television, the only black-owned national cable network geared toward black gospel. Then, of course, on King Day, MLK holiday, make sure that you work with Nan. We continue the dream. We do it every year. The holiday is under assault. They want to make this the last holiday. We have to show up in big numbers and show we're not taking that no more. So we are going to have our annual MLK breakfast in Washington on MLK morning, holiday morning. And then we're honoring Eric Holder, the former Attorney General, Donna Brazile. We are honoring Sheila Johnson, co-founder of BET. And then we're going to jump on the plane and be back in Harlem for the 1 o'clock annual MLK Policy Day Forum, where we have the elected officials come and report on what they've done in the spirit of Dr. King. That is in accord with what he represented. And that's 1 o'clock at the House of Justice, 145th in Lenox. Governor will be there, the mayor will be there, and others. And as I said, we're kicking off this HBCU tour. I'm starting at the convocation on Dr. King's actual birthday, January 15th, at Lincoln University. Their convocation, I'll be at Lincoln. Then that night, I believe we're going to do a rally in Philadelphia, and we're going to lay out the HBCU tour. So a lot is happening. Stay on our website, at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, let's go to the phones and to our message board. I've already been on some of the message board, but let's go to Nicola in Tacoma, Washington. Tacoma, Washington to Nicola.
Yes, good afternoon, Reverend. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. Your voice is so vital and clear. Your advocacy is unmatched at this point in our country, and I appreciate it deeply. So many millions of people appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I wanted to talk about the desperate Congress people on the GOP side who don't seem to be able to find any other kind of work because they're desperate to keep this job. I mean, most of them are either attorneys or professionals, but yet they act like this is the only job in the world for them, and they'll sell out our democracy. They'll allow our country to invade other nations, call our citizens garbage, and worse. They don't even have the courage to stand up.
Yeah, I think that they not only don't have the courage to stand up, which they are in many ways employed and take a service oath to do. I mean, part of the job is you're supposed to uphold the law. And to sit there and watch these various federal agencies and even the White House break the law and you not say something about it makes you complicit with it. And I think you raised an excellent point.
Thank you, yes.
All right, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Do I have time to go to another or should I go to break?
Let's go to break.
Let's go to break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. Because Michael Jackson kept going, he created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess, but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee. Sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars. Focus on the journey. Michael beat him. Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics. He outdanced his doubters. He outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to say to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers, we thank you for giving us someone that taught us love, someone that taught us hope. We want to thank you because we know it was your dream too. And we know that your heart is broken. I know you have some comfort from the letter from the President of the United States and Nelson Mandela, but this was your child. This was your brother. This was your cousin. Nothing will fill your heart's loss. But I hope the love that people are showing will make you know he didn't live in vain. And I want his 3 children to know, wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with. But he dealt with it. He dealt with it anyway. He dealt with it for us. So some came today, Mrs. Jackson, to say goodbye to Michael. I came to say thank you. Thank you because you never stopped. Thank you because you never gave up. Thank you because you never gave out. Thank you because you tore down our divisions. Thank you because you eradicated barriers. Thank you because you gave us hope. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. That I want to eat. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll take that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is
we're the children of people that been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality.
Keeping it real, keeping it real.
Existed.
I'm your host,
Survived the middle passage.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797, or go to our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. nationalactionnetwork.net. One of the things that I think is the most horrendous things I've seen in a long time is yesterday, the people that participated in the January 6th attack 5 years ago yesterday, that literally assaulted police officers and desecrated the United States Capitol in order to try and prevent the certification of the election of 2020. And these are the participants now. They marched yesterday because some of them had been in jail. They were pardoned by President Donald Trump. And rather than them go off on the sunset knowing that they shouldn't have got away with it, they marched yesterday like they are a day of pride and a day that they salute themselves for breaking out in a riotous and in a inflammatory way. It is amazing. And they literally marched. They made a lot of statements that should be troubling. It's amazing to me. All right, let's go to the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al. I'm still looking at this footage of this shooting that the ICE agent did in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I don't think ICE agents have on body cameras. But the significance of it is, from one aspect, if there are 2,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis, but the Minneapolis police force, according to what I researched, was only 900 people. So this is what I was talking about.
Wait a minute. There's 2,000 ICE agents, and there how many people?
900, according to when I asked.
900 where?
900.
900.
In Minneapolis.
There got to be more than 900. In the whole city?
That's what it said.
No, Minneapolis is where they killed George Floyd. I know there's more than 900 people in Minneapolis.
No, 900 law enforcement, police officers.
Oh, 900 law enforcement. Okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Police officers.
Okay.
Yeah. And so actually, if those figures are even close to being accurate, ICE outnumbers law enforcement, Minneapolis Police Department 2-1.
Right. That's right.
And they've arrested 1,400 people.
Wow.
And this is the same kind of behavior that I call Gestapo when I said Nazi Party back before the election.
Yep.
The Trump administration is what they call gone rogue. And they keep doing things, as Forrest Gump would say, stupid is as stupid does, or what you do is what you are.
Right.
And I don't think the American people are taking it seriously enough.
I don't either.
I just don't think. I think they keep saying their mouth flies open, but this guy has to be stopped before he does something irreparable to the country. Now, I can't predict what it would be, but as you see, he continues to escalate his authoritarian dictator-like philosophy using the American government, United States government.
Right.
And I just think we need to take this guy more seriously, and particularly try to get this election so we can get some of his power taken away from him. Because the Republican Party is rubber stamping all this stuff that he's done, and of course Homeland Security is going to say that this lady tried to run over this cop, this officer. But from the videos that they're showing, he was standing on the side of the car. She tried to drive away when he tried to open up her door. And this stuff, to me, is escalating. It's not de-escalating. He's going from saying things to doing things, and now he's talking about taking Greenland. I mean, there's some dysfunction there that as a head of state, we don't need in this country. We need somebody that's sane, logical, rational. And I just don't see where Trump fits that bill, and I don't see where he's going to stop on his own unless the American public stops him.
And I think you're right. I absolutely agree. And the thing I think that I've already seen, the mayor of Minneapolis on Frey, who I know and who's done, who was there when I was there during the George Floyd movement, and who's done my show since then. And he said they need to get out of Minneapolis. And you're correct, and I looked it up, verifying you're right. They've got 2-to-1 ICE agents in Minneapolis to the local police. And whether, I'm not going to prejudge an investigation on what the woman was doing in the car or not. I don't know that if you are an armed law enforcement, your only option is to kill somebody. But aside from that, if you weren't there in the first place, it wouldn't be an incident. There's no reason for you to be there. Now, look at what we're looking at, Leon. They're in Minneapolis, 2-to-1 to local law enforcement. They're terrorizing people, all the people that you rightfully named that were arrested, that you gave us the number of arrests. And
1,400.
Right, 1,400. And they have now smeared the agencies that were given money to help the Somali citizens and non-citizens there, that we find out that those agencies and those programs were doing the work. So there's a seemingly targeted situation here in Minneapolis, because they went everywhere. We're going to investigate that Walls, the governor, and all that. There are people that ripped off the money, and they've not come back with anything. The people and the media has gone to these work sites and say, yeah, they're here. And these services are doing what they say they're doing.
Well, Reverend Al, again, Trump has gone rogue across the board, across the spectrum. Okay, domestic, international, he's rogue. And again, and I'm going to use this term because every time I turn on the news, I see something more that defines it. This Nazi-ish type philosophy, this mentality that they're using. One of the gentlemen that was at the Naval War College said he purged the military of the high-ranking military of women and blacks.
Yeah.
Okay, all these different things, and I'm saying to myself, this is like the guy that wrote The Rise of the Fourth Reich. Jim Marrs says in his book. This is the blueprint, and this blueprint was out before 2025. And now they've got this upgraded blueprint saying that some people are saying, coming up with all kind of crazy things. Venezuela had nuclear weapons that they got from China. I hear all these different absolutely insane things that can be verified. All you have to do is ask your phone. It'll tell you everything that is answered, just about any questions you can ask, and if you can ask it 2 or 3 times and double, triple verify it. So the American people got to take this more seriously and be prepared to stop this guy before he damages this country where it can't be repaired, which he might be his end goal, to take it to a certain level. like no election or him never coming out. Well, as we said before, you can't put anything past him.
No, that's for sure, and I think you're absolutely right. And let me say this: I think that many of us need to understand that many of us, in our negligence, caused this, and I think that we need to just be straight up about it. We caused it, and I think that it is because of our causing it that we should bear the responsibility of working overtime to correct it. Many
Absolutely,
of us
Reverend.
said that, this is what's going to happen. It's happening, and then some. Some stuff we couldn't even predict because some stuff is so unimaginable that we
Right.
even didn't think Trump would do it, but he has.
Yeah, and you're absolutely correct. Hey, I don't care what they say. Your naysayers can come up with these different ways to try to cast aspersions on what you're doing. Don't pay no attention to it, because you are one of the few people out here that are actually trying to stand up and trying to save this country before it gets too late.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for that. And I'm going to stay, there's a part in the scriptures about where the watchman on the walls. I'm going to be a watchman. And I'm going to keep on being that watchman and do what needs to be done. And I think that all of us must play our role, not just depend on some of us out front.
That's right.
All of us must play our role. And I think it's imperative and important that we do so. Let's get ready to take our break. We'll be right back.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Keeping it real. Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shy, never shake. Give me a papa God, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks, it's about giving, it's about gratitude, it's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
I thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them and listened to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good. Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when, exactly. That was, exactly.
I just the two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went over his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket.
Wow.
To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people come too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, '06. And they came to do the story for February of '07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him and pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great grandfather was a slave about 45? Because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you gotta listen to me. But
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to keeping take it nights real. in jails and licks up. I am your host,
Shut out of boardrooms like
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're talking about, obviously, the shooting by the ICE agent in Minneapolis that just broke this morning. We're trying to get up to the date information. The DHS claiming that the lady that was shot by the DHS agent was driving to knock him down, and he, I guess, is trying to say it was self-defense. I don't know why, if there is even any merit to her driving toward him, what happened to shooting tires and all. We're monitoring that. We're also watching what President Donald Trump is doing in terms of Venezuela. They've taken out the president, said that there's not regime change, said that he had informed oil leaders. And I think that it is imperative that we, I think, look at what is going on here. When we look at the fact that you're seeing, in many ways, the Monroe Doctrine now become the Trump Doctrine. They want to control the whole hemisphere. Now you're talking about going to Greenland. And we can talk about all that. We can talk about the redistricting fight, definitely still on. They're trying to undermine our right to vote. So much to talk about, so let's do that. And also, I've asked you, since January 30th, about 2 weeks, less than 3 weeks from now is our anniversary, start telling me what is your most memorable Keeping It Real show? All right, let us go back to the phones. Let me go to Deborah in Atlanta, Georgia. Deborah.
Hi, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. I wish that around the country, I believe that was in Chicago, they started arresting ICE agents.
Right.
That's what they need to do.
Yep.
They need to start arresting them. They need to when they get on land, arrest them. Honestly, if you have something in reference to, and you just go ahead and get your laws together now. You know, you don't wait on it. You see what they did in Chicago. You see what they did in New York. You don't wait. You go ahead. You know that they're coming. You know that they're there to disrupt whatever you have going. They're lawmakers, not just there in Minneapolis, but any place, Oregon or wherever they are. You need to start making laws now. You need to be proactive. You see what they do. You see what they're capable of. Arrest them. Why are you playing with them? Arrest them. I mean, basically, sometimes I wish I had a wand to give myself the power, to give myself the titles, because I don't understand why these people don't know what to do, Reverend Sharpton. It's very clear. When I look at Donald Trump, I think it's very important that we look at what he did, people. We can go to bed and wake up at war the next morning. This man cannot be trusted. He is treacherous. When he went into Venezuela, he never mentioned anything about our military, y'all. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, or Marines. We saw how they gathered our generals and our sergeants and things together and how they treated them and how angry they were. He said he had some type of special forces. It's only today that I wake up. Now he's saying something about the military. Reverend Sharpton, I really don't believe that a lot of our forces even knew that he was going over to Venezuela. I think he's running this country as a kingdom, and he needs to be arrested. He really does. And I'm not just saying this. I really don't think that our top military individuals knew what was going on. And that is a very, very dangerous place to be. Yet he expects our military to come and protect him, to protect this country on a one-man war that he is starting. And everybody knows how much China has invested in Venezuela and how much Venezuela owes China for that oil. So to me, that is an act of treason. That is an act of war, because you know these things, but you're not talking to our sergeants. You're not talking to our generals. You're not talking to our highest ranks in the military. I think that's crazy. And I think Donald Trump needs to be arrested. I think he needs to be arrested. He needs to be taken out of office. And America needs to start looking at that. We need to stop talking about it and Congress needs to do whatever they need to be done. These governors that helped him get where he is, they need to put their heads together and get this clown out of office, because he is very dangerous to the United States of America. And how do you feel about that?
No, I totally agree. I think he knows it, that if we get our head together, that he's gone. He told the Congress yesterday, the Republican members of Congress, that if they don't win the midterm elections, he's going to be impeached. But he needs to be removed. What he is doing, I think, is unquestionably against international law. What he did in Venezuela is against international law. Now he's selling wolf tickets about Greenland. Would see what he's doing in the United States, letting the Affordable Care Act expire. I mean, what does this man have to do? Inflation's up. He lied to his own supporters. So I absolutely agree with you. No question about it. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Trump. Thanks for taking my call. I'm going to be real quick about this. My public service announcement is this. That thing, that last guy you talked to, they were talking about how they, the ICE agents had all this power. I read that last week, that Trump gives the ICE agents upgraded weapons and give them more unlimited powers. That means they can do whatever they want, because of what he says. He's signing them on with extra money for sign-on bonus to get these folks in there to do the dirty work. And that's the reason why they're running wild in these places, because they have no control. And he told them they can run buck wild, but he don't understand that it's going to be some consequence behind that too. That's the first thing. But my second thing is that I want to unveil for people. They got to realize this. The crash of the economy was so that they can plan to buy everything pennies on a dollar to get rid of any public services that our tax dollars pay for, and if they do, they're going to privatize them so that they can profit from that, and they'll take over your taxes and stuff, and still charge you for stuff that you're supposed to get as public services. And what they're going to do, they're going to disrupt the city and try to break it down so that you can't own anything, and like they did in Russia, the same thing. They took everything from the people and had it so that you had to buy everything from them. That's what their whole goal is, to get the government broke so that they have owned everything. You have to go to them to get everything. That's why they're trying to get this cryptocurrency stuff in so they can have only currency regulated. So you got to watch that kind of craziness, and this is what they're trying to do. The last thing before I get off is, in Canada, people research, in Canada, they have funds or some money, but I think it's $189 million allocated for black businesses, for black people who want to run a business out of Canada or in Canada, and they had that money allocated. So they want to look into that because they're friendly in Ottawa, and they're very friendly about opening up business for us because of this stuff we got going on in the city where this man don't want us to be equal to have anything. So that's my call for today, and thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you for your call. Let me see if I can get Still Bill in from Ohio. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend, and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you.
I am very aware of yesterday, January 6th, the 5th anniversary of the attack on the Capitol, courtesy of Donald Trump. And, I just believe that karma does exist. And I believe that Donald Trump is dealing with karma right now because on a recent TV appearance, I noticed his hands have swords. And, I'm just going to be blank. I believe that vengeance is the Lord. And, it's just a matter of time before this man comes face to face with God to answer for all his sins and everything. And I watched a few years back the play, Your Arms is Too Short to Box with God.
Yeah, I remember that play. It was a good play.
Yes, it was. And I'm motivated. I am totally motivated, Reverend. I'm motivated this month because this month is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. I am motivated to march this year, hopefully. And I am motivated to help get back what is rightfully ours when it comes to serving. I watch Politics Nation pretty much, except for when Donald Trump's face is on there, and I turn it off. But I'm going to get off because I know that there's a lot of callers that want to get on. And I just want to wish you again a Happy New Year. And to Dominique, I am still Bill, and I will keep it real.
She's in the office. I'll tell her, Still Bill. She's in the office. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones and on the message board. Keeping it real. Sharpton. 20 years, y'all. Be right back. Our theme this year is we gonna straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time.
Every step I take, you will be there. Every step I make, we'll be together. Every step I take, you will be there. Every step I make, we'll be together. Every step I take.
Ooh. Thank you so much. I was thinking I was going to prepare a speech, but I can't read those things anymore. Name's Babyface, not Baby Body. But I wanted to, I mean, you made me sound so good with those words. I was like, that was me? I was like, when I look at my life and I think of the music and everything that I've done, I used to say that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the words come from. I don't know where the music comes from. I don't know how I got here where I am, but that's not true. God got me here. This is and it becomes more clear to me every day that's why I'm here. And I don't even know how I ended up standing here, except for the fact that I ran into Al at the Essence. He was walking in the room, and I said, I got to go say hello. And he said, I want to honor you. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to honor you. I said, really? Yep. And here I am standing here, and I could well, thank you. I always wanted to do this, Michael. I love you too. Sorry. But I think of moments like this, I can't help but just think of how proud my mom would be for me to stand here. I have to say that just to be standing here and to be invited by Al Sharpton, and I want you guys to really think about this man who invited me here and how he has been fighting the fight for us all of these years. I don't think we give him enough credit. I don't think we give him enough love. Sometimes you just get used to people and you think, well, that's just Al. No. He's more than that. I want y'all to give him really love. Come on, let's give him. It's very true. Because I can remember times, I'm 67 years old, I can remember times in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it's true, I'm 67. And I can remember times in Indianapolis when I was growing up, and there were places before I was 5 years old that I could not go to because I was black. And I remember how civil rights, how that changed everything for me and for my life, and that I'm standing here today because of all of those changes, and I was able to do the kind of music that I do and do everything because of those things happened. And so for me to accept an award like this, because I've never gotten an award like this before, and so I really appreciate it, and I'm just so thankful, and I thank my mom for giving me the sense to always be humble with my life and to never think that it's all about me. And so like I said, I didn't prepare a speech. I always just wanted to speak from my heart. And I'm speaking from my heart, and I want to tell you once again, Al Sharpton, you are a blessing to us all, and I thank you for inviting me for this, and thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
King, Dr. Richardson, most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing us all here together today in the Urban Action Network. I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America, but I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Carol Moseley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice, with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
For over 3 decades, the National Action Network has stood on the front lines for our communities, fighting for justice, lifting up the voiceless, and showing up where it matters most. Presidents, world leaders, and global changemakers have all testified to Reverend Al Sharpton's impact and National Action Network legacy of good trouble in the fight for equality. This holiday season, our commitment grows even stronger. We're expanding food distributions, toy drives, and direct support for families who need us now more than ever. Stop right now and join the movement.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house, house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, or you can go on our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. And I'm looking at some of the footage they put out on this shooting in Minneapolis, and it appears that the ICE agents tried to surround the car, tell her to get out the car, and she pulled off, and then they shot. It does not appear that, from what I'm seeing so far, anybody's life is in danger but hers. I don't know how they are justifying shooting and killing her. But again, this is just one video. Let's see what they're coming with. But the mayor said it, I think, bluntly and correctly, that they don't need to be in Minneapolis, period, anywhere else. All right, let's go back to the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Geralda in Brooklyn, New York. Geralda?
Hello.
Yes.
It's Geralda keeping it real.
Yes.
I just want to say that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to say that the wars that we're about to embark on is because the U.S. Funds are depleted, they're broke, they're actually money circulating. I'm not saying there's no money circulating, but as far as the government using dollars outside of the U.S. to obtain certain things, they can't afford it. And that's why they're starting these wars and they're going after oil and so on and so forth. But these wars, to me, are going to be really kind of vicious because the people nowadays are not like the one in yesteryears, you know. And if the U.S. think that they have that power, let them keep it.
Hello?
You know, it's said that.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
She gonna have to call back.
You're gonna have to call back.
Yeah, it's going to break up while I'm...
Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you for your call. You had to call back and go to clean line because you're breaking up. Let's go to Norm in Tampa, Florida. Norm, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Well, Reverend, I'm still in DeSantisburg, remember?
Okay.
How you doing?
Well, that's not what they put on the board. Thank you for your call. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Reverend, I don't know why, but, you know, I'm telling you something from my perspective, what I've seen down here in Tampa. I've been trying to tell people about this. Last Friday, I was sitting in I got up early in the morning to go to the post office. And so I looked up in the sky, man, and I saw all these, like, you know, the jet streams, contrails, like bombers. They're bomber. You know, like when we were kids, you see the B-52 bombers, you know, like maybe 10 or 12 of them. You could see the stream flying south, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then that night, then you hear about the attack on Venezuela and stuff. So, you know, I try to let people know that, hey, something appears to be up about that. And that's the second time I've seen this before. Like in August, we saw this huge amount of military planes that were all headed, like, south and stuff. And this is like in August that we've learned that, you know, they were going to Venezuela to surround the ships. But just an observation that I wanted folks to be aware of. But at the same time, how can you call this man? And I know they took the drug dealing charge. We wrote about this. You're going to call this man a drug dealer, and in fact, the United States has been in bed with the drug cartels, and they funded the drug cartels. Hamid Karzai, just the entire Afghanistan government was nothing but a drug cartel. We have funded the Queen of Bolivia. Read the book. There's a book by a guy named Michael Levine. He was a former DEA and worked with the CIA. And he wrote a book called The Big White Lie. And he talks about how they funded the cocaine delivery with the Queen of Cocaine, working with the CIA in this country to the drugs pumped into the United States. He also talked about Klaus Barbie. Remember, he was a Nazi at that time, and how his CIA number was 43118, and how he was used because he was anti-communist. We worked with him, but again, he worked with Escobar and these other guys to fund these type of these drug operations and stuff. So we've got our whole bodies need our foreign policy depends upon these cartels, lavish cartels, And read the work of, we talked about Jose Isuri. He was a former agent. He talks about how this is all fun and how they would sleep with you can't enforce drug laws when you're sleeping with the prostitutes provided to you by the drug cartels. And he was talking about not only the agents, but the prosecutors too. And this is well known, and he's doing jail time right now. But again, and we're going to sit here and then and then if you really want to see drug dealing, then read the report from the White House Medical Unit, and how the White House Medical Unit between 2018 to 2019 or 2017, 2019 ordered huge amount of narcotic analgesics such as morphine, such as fentanyl patches, such as Provigil, such as Xanax, and some of these generic, and dispensed them to people who were unauthorized at the White House without a prescription. And this is the White House report. And we put this in our blog, youovertothenorth.com, when you put down White House Medical Unit. So again, are we talking about the law or the selective enforcement of the law here today? And then we're going to talk about the president of Venezuela, and we ignore this kind of stuff. And it was sad about it is that the media, you tell the media, oh well, and they go on without reporting this, and yet the enforcement against the common citizen, against our doctors who are providing this sort of thing, is totally different from what happens. We call it a travesty of privilege, is what we have here, when one has privilege and stuff. And so read about this. There's a lot of contradiction here, and then we're going to risk our citizens' lives. Our people you call DEI, all these other folks, you want to send them down to Venezuela, remove their benefits and all that kind of from their families and stuff, and then you're going to ask them to come to fight a war for this country fight a war for this and sacrifice your life. And when you get back, your veterans' benefits are gone. They don't even exist anymore. Or better yet, if you say something bad about, like you have this Senator Kelly, who flew in space missions, a captain in the United States Navy, graduate of the Naval Academy, and you want to demote him now for being outspoken about the ruthlessness and the lawlessness of this agency, and you want to have some guy who just only made it a major now demote him, okay, and then take his pension away from that.
And the fact of the matter is, he quoted what is the law, that you're not supposed to you're not supposed to obey illegal orders. I mean, not only is everything you're saying right, the man was quoting the law. Let me hold you over, Norm. Let me hold you over. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there
and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery, in segregation time, we were singing We Shall Overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing the hoe in the back of the bus. So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, all of this about our friend Barack announcing today, I wish Obama had announced here, because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Dice. What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
Our theme this year is we gonna straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time.
I got a Tony.
You got it? My daughter won a Tony Award.
That's crazy.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go right back to the phone. Let's go to Denise in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Denise?
You're still talking to Norm. You're still talking
I'm
to
sorry, Norm. Denise, hold up 1 minute. I had Norm on. I had not. I told Norm to hold over. Go ahead, Norm. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes. Reverend, when we talk about drug dealers, just read this one here, okay? This is a report that was done. This is in a blog called YourWithinTheNorms.com. This is their White House Medical Unit mass ordering of fentanyl raises questions, okay? And here's what the report said. This is the government talking. The White House Medical Unit Narcotic Procurement and Regulatory Double Standard. A scathing government report has revealed that the White House Medical Unit under the 2016 Trump administration engaged in improper procurement and distribution of powerful controlled substances, including fentanyl, morphine. And critics of this unit said what a stark double standard as to why the DEA has not pursued strict systemic violations of these systemic violations is what it says right here. And also it said the findings broaden the discussion regarding government corruption, the legality of high-volume narcotic orders and non-surgical settings, and those sort of, including drugs like cocaine hydrochloride, which we use for surgery sometimes at the White House. Okay, this is not something that I'm making up. All right, this is not, this is what has happened. And this is a DOD, a Department of Defense report that came out in 2024. And you can read the article called White House Medical Unit Mass Ordering in the blog You Are Within the Norms, but it's also public information. And the doctor in charge at that time was Ronnie Jackson. And Ronnie Jackson is a congressman. He's a rear admiral of the public health service. You don't see anybody giving him a demotion for this kind of ordering that went on and stuff. And yet you're going to tell me about Maduro in in Venezuela. And here, they're ordering signified quantities of drugs such as fentanyl, and it says morphine and Xanax and Provigil. Again, this is what the government investigators are saying. And violations punishable by 20 years if you were a private practitioner doing this kind of stuff. And again, Reverend, people need to understand that, are we talking about the law or the selective enforcement of the law? In fact, these cruise missiles, appear to be aimed at the wrong place. They need to be turned towards Washington rather than turned towards Venezuela. And they need to be putting people like Mr. Miller in contention, or folks that sitting and Mr. Jackson, who's a congressman at the White House in prison and stuff. And if you ever want to pull this up, Reverend, I want you to read it. And you and I couldn't get away with anything like this.
Nor should we.
In Washington. You're right. Read. You are within the norms.com, and there's 2 articles in there. Pictures. The actual report, the Department of Justice report, is in there. It's called the White House Medical. There's 2 articles in there, and there is a video that we provided, and we did an analysis of this sort of thing here. And yet, they have come. The same people have come in and attack black folk at airports, seizing their property. The Drug Enforcement Agency. The same people who are dressed in those uniforms at ICE and those sort of thing are attacking citizens and doctors, our medical.
Now, what are you saying in these documents as it relates to Ronnie Jackson? Because I see on our message board that Trisha's saying Ronnie Jackson was called the Candy Man while he was the White House doctor.
Oh my God!
Wait a minute. Let me ask the question. So,
yes.
What exactly? Why was he referred to as the Candy Man, and what are you saying was his role?
Because what he did, he was the head of the White. And here it says he's the physician for the president of the U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson. And what his role was to oversee the dispensing of medication, controlled medications at the White House. The probe concluded that the White House Medical Unit Pharmacy had severe systemic problems without oversight and dispensed prescription medication to ineligible White House staff. He would have been in charge. And being the Candy Man? I mean, have you ever? Can the Candy Man? Yeah, okay. And he was in charge.
Now,
so
this is wait a minute. I'm trying to have our listeners learn. I understand you're passionate, but I want them to hear what we're saying and what you're saying. So, are you saying that what you're reading from was from a White House report?
Oh no, this is the United States Department of Defense Inspector General's report.
So this was the Department of Defense Inspector General's report that included activities in the White House.
Okay, the Inspector General report found that the White House unit drugs, including opioids, sleep medications, were not properly accounted for, and that the prescribers wrote for prescriptions for controlled substances that often lack the medical providers and the patient's information mandated by the DEA. It also questioned why the unit routinely ordered branded drugs instead of their generic equivalent that were around half price. The report did not name any individuals working at the White House unit at the time and did not apportion blame for the issuance of uncovered. Newsweek reached out to Ronnie Jackson, it said, the president's position between 2013 and 2018, and Sean Conley, his successor, who served under the Biden administration, was until inauguration. Of course,
been stopped. So there's nowhere. And then they ask you, where is the DEA? But these are violations of federal regulations and violation of federal law, USC 842A1, making it unlawful to dispense control medications in violation of 21 USC 829, who's with the scope to be defined in part by 21 CFR and then 1306. Again, dispensing medication without a prescription.
Wow.
Without any use. And this happened routinely, and it was just brushed over. And you're going to tell me you're going to send planes over Tampa and over bomber planes over down.
And this is happening. So people will be clear. Thank you for your call. This is happening in the United States, and we're going over to Venezuela, talking about drug trafficking. And if this is an Inspector General's report right in one of the government agencies, how are we not being dealt with there? The other part of this that has to be always reminded of is, don't forget, he just had pardoned a head of state named Hernandez in Honduras, who had been convicted in the United States federal courts and sentenced to 45 years in jail, and was in jail. Wasn't like they couldn't get him, he was in jail. Donald Trump pardoned him. So you go and grab one alleged head of state allegedly dealing in drugs and arrest him, bring him to the United States, say you're going to deal with his oil, and lock him up while you let another one out of jail that's accused and convicted of the same crime. And you wonder why we question Trump? I wonder why there are not more people questioning Trump. Where is the virtue in some of these Republicans that claim righteousness and they're so committed to what's right and to Christianity and all? I mean, you couldn't get more blatant than this. But hypocrisy reigns, and we just need to accept that's what it is. Let's take a break. Coming right back to Denise in Milwaukee. Keeping it real. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton. 20 years, y'all. Be right back. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there, and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We were we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. It's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine.
Good. Last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life are from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went for his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket. From South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James. Yeah. Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And where I knew Jesse was from James. You know, I started Brevard.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy had helped push the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to our 20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. if they have any sense at all, they would be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they would not have time to try to major in your life. I thank God I was blessed to have both in my life, both historic, strong figures. But if I misuse them and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are, why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke. Our theme this year is we gonna straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time. Your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and of course you can go on our message page at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We're monitoring what's going on in Minneapolis. I'm talking to people on the ground. And from the videotape that was sent to me, I do not see why they could not stop the vehicle or apprehend the person why they had to shoot it. And that's preliminary. I've not seen the official footage. And I will be on Harry Melba, the beat, at about 6 o'clock. Tonight, talking about this with Ari. So we're going to really deal with this on the MS Now at 6 o'clock tonight. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday. I'll be digging into this, but I'll also be really dealing with what Venezuela means, doesn't mean, is Greenland a distractions. I have senior members of Congress and the Senate already booked. And we're going to deal with the voter denial situation. Let's not get it twisted, and let's not get distracted. And, of course, we are going to deal with the question of the real question, I should say, of how we deal with the Affordable Care Act being expired and how we must deal with reinstating it. I want the members of Congress. I've got, I think, a governor each night. So make sure you watch both Saturday and Sunday. And as I said, the Saturday Action Rally, I'll be there this Saturday looking for you at the House of Justice, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Harlem. And at the House of Justice, the Alpha Fraternity is going to announce with National Action Network that we're working together on this HBCU tour. And the coordinator of the tour is my special assistant at National Action Network, the Reverend Cassius Rudolph. Before I go to you, Denise, and others on the phone, I want Reverend Rudolph to explain exactly what the tour is, what Alpha's involvement is as I start the tour next week. I think our first stop is
Lincoln University.
Yeah, on Dr. King's actual birthday.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead, lay it out.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sharpton, for this opportunity. And family, we are excited about our National Action Network Ascend HBCU tour that's kicking off next week at Lincoln University. We are excited. First of all, this Saturday at the House of Justice, we are signing an MOU with NAN. And
Explain what an MOU is for those that may not know.
Yes, sir. It's a memorandum of understanding. It's agreement of two parties coming together on agreements to do good work together. And so Alpha Phi Alpha, the first intercollegiate fraternity known to humankind, started on December 4th, 1906 at Cornell University. Our president, President Lucian J. Metellus, and our board of directors will be in the house and signing this MOU with NAN as we work together to kick off this tour and to do similar work, this social justice work, our major program.
I'm excited about that. The chairman and president of Alpha Psi Alpha, and I'm not an Alpha. I'm a Sigma, but these are black fraternities, and they are going to partner with NAN on this tour. Go ahead.
Exactly. And so with that, we'll partner with the fraternity as a whole, and as we visit chapters across the country, we'll partner on the ground with local chapters. But our NAN Ascend tour begins next week, and so this tour, our mission is to educate, engage, and activate the next generation of HBCU leaders to rise in purpose, power, and service. And we're encouraging GOTV, voter education, and registration even before the midterm elections next year. We're kicking off at Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, on next Wednesday night with a civic engagement training. We'll have over 50 students, their student leaders together, training them on civic engagement, voter education, and all the 9 yards about the civil rights movement. And then on that Thursday morning, on King Day, will be their opening MLK convocation, and our very own founder and president, Reverend Al Sharpton, will be the speaker. And following him, we'll have a kickoff rally with the Divine Nine strolling, a DJ, and special guests and all that. So we're excited about this 30 college tour that's going to take place starting next week all the way to the end of March, leading up to April for our NAN convention in New York City. So Rev,
we're excited about it. And again, we're kicking off on next week on King's actual birthday. And I'm going to join and keynote the convocation. There's going to be trainings, not just speaking as I go on this tour and Reverend Rudolph goes. It's going to be training some of our young people in how to organize, how to do voter registration, how to do social engagement, social organizing, and then, of course, bringing them into National Action Network's convention April 8th to the 11th. I'm telling people to sign up now, saying I'm coming to the convention. You can go to nationalactionnetwork.net, and so we can start reserving space for people now. You that are going to be with us on the holiday, because this is the actual day in Pennsylvania, I will be in Washington for our annual breakfast on the holiday, which is the following Monday week, which is the 19th.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing our breakfast that we do every year. We're doing it at the Salamander. In fact, we're honoring the owner, black woman, Sheila Johnson. We're doing it at the Salamander. And we're honoring Eric Holder, the former Attorney General. He'll be there. We're honoring Donna Brazile. She'll be there. And the mayor of Baltimore, we're honoring. He'll be there. Then I'm flying right back to New York. And at 1 o'clock, we'll be at the House of Justice in Harlem, where we ask all of the elected officials, in the name of the King holiday, give us a report on what you're doing about the dream. What have you done since last King Day? What are you doing now? The governor of New York has already confirmed she'll be there, the mayor, and many of the officials. Hakeem Jeffries has said he'll either be in the Washington breakfast or in New York, depending on where they are in this shutdown, and so will Minority Leader Schumer. So we take care of business. We don't take a day off on King's Day. That's right. We go to work and keep it on, and we don't wait for the holiday. We start on the actual day, and that's where we're going to be at Lincoln University. All right, let's go to Denise in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Denise, you're keeping it real with Sharpton.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Man to God. I had talked to you some months ago, and I told you I was doing a poetry book because you highlighted it with your commercial that was running in our city. And it's about blackness, the blackness. Black Lives Matter, change gonna come, stop the bloodshed, we the people, and so on. I want to get you one of them books later on. But anyway, I was calling in regards to this particular place that I'm staying in. I call it a compound, a Jim Jones type situation, because they want you to come in and let them run your life, come into what they got going on around here, but I refuse to do it. So they're terrorizing me, coming in my apartment every time I leave, you know, just organizing things and just, you know, messing around and messing up in here, you know. And not only that, but sometimes I'm staying up late because I'm a minister myself. And I'm hearing this guy upstairs over me. I don't know if he's going into women's apartments, dragging them out and taking them up into his apartment. And later on, I hear him, you know, them screaming and him stumping on the floor real hard, trying to prevent me.
Okay, well, hold on a minute. Let me get somebody to talk to you, see when we get to the bottom of this. Hold on 1 minute. Y'all pick up and get our information. Let me go to break, and I'll come right back. More of you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Black. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would have been together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this. Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and let me say that it is imperative that we see what is going on from Venezuela to now this ICE agent in Minneapolis. The preliminary video does not show that these ICE agents were in danger and therefore had to shoot and kill. We understand it's a lady. The mayor said that the ICE should get out of the city. But also I would hasten to add that those that started throwing snowballs and other objects at the police, that is not going to do anything but play into Donald Trump's hand. Reverend Malcolm Byrd sitting here in the office with us, who is our COO, was saying that his fear is if they get out of hand with the violence, then the focus will shift to the violence of the understandable angry people, but you cannot lose your mind and play into their hands, because that's all President Trump would need to call martial law, and that's what they want. You must remember that if we're really angry, we have to be strategic. I remember right in that same city of Minneapolis is where we had the George Floyd case, and I think that the first day or two there was violence. We had to come in and stop that in order to get the special prosecutor, which ended up being Keith Ellison, who was the Attorney General of Minnesota and still is. And Keith Ellison got the case, and those policemen are in jail this morning. What they wanted to do is make the issue out of the first day or two of violence, rather than the issue of the violence was against George Floyd. And it appears the violence is against this woman in the car. So even if people are saying, well, she might have been running because she's here illegal or whatever, does that give you the right to shoot her like that? And again, according to the tape that has been put out so far, unless there's other stuff that we don't have knowledge of, the woman was maybe disobeying stop and get out the car and driving off, but she was not putting any of them in physical danger. That's the way it appears at this point. Again, Reverend Bird, why don't you step up to the mic? I think that the other part of this is that she did not appear, according to the video I've been able to see. And again, I'm not saying we've seen all the evidence, and be real clear, but it does not appear that any life-extenuating circumstance was there for the ICE officers. So it's clear to me that the mayor's right. If ICE is not there in the first place, we wouldn't even be dealing with these back and forth situations.
Reverend, I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm, of course, always happy to be on your program. Anything Donald Trump proposes or anything he introduces always comes quickly to ruin. There should not be any need for ICE officials in American cities to begin with. And the mayor of Minneapolis, even with his flowery language, is absolutely right. ICE needs to leave. If you watch the video, on a first preliminary glance of the video, it shows this woman clearly perhaps disobeying orders, but trying to get away, and the ICE officials kind of getting closer to the vehicle to get the woman to stop. I don't know the woman's background. I don't know from whence she has come. But I have been pulled over by the police before, and a different kind of anxiety surrounds you when you're not really sure how this encounter with law enforcement is going to turn out. Maybe she hit the gas by trying to hit the brake. We don't know. All we know is, from what we saw on the tape, that woman could very well still be alive, and those ICE officials would still be alive if the first thought wasn't to move toward the trigger. I want to say one final thing, Rev, concerning the throwing of snowballs and what have you in Minneapolis. The National Action Network is in the King tradition. We are a nonviolent, boots-on-the-ground organization. We believe wholeheartedly that individuals should be in the streets agitating gravel where necessary. But we're also a nonviolent organization, and I would appeal to the individuals in Minneapolis, if you want to create real, serious, sustainable change, as Reverend Sharpton said a moment ago, put down the snowball. Stop attempting to create that kind of ruckus, because what you don't want is what Donald Trump might propose, is to put the entire city on lockdown, put the entire city upon federal observation and federal patrol, which means it will be illegal tomorrow to do what you are able to legally, peaceably do today. So be smart about it. Get in the street. Make your voices known, but be smart about it, that you might be able to use your voice tomorrow and not be silenced tomorrow.
Let's go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Disco Brian, WURD.
Rev, this is my first time I've been on with Pastor Bird. It's an honor. I just want to say, let me start with the ugly news today to follow on my call from yesterday. NBC News veteran Carl Quintanilla just posted this reminder on Blue Sky, y'all. Russian officials indicated in 2019 that the Kremlin would be willing to back off from its support for Maduro and Venezuela in exchange for a free hand in Ukraine, according to Fiona Hill, who was advising Trump at the time and went on to testify about this before Congress in 2019. Rev, I know you mention his name a lot, and I hope everybody listening knows the name Volodymyr Zelensky, and hopefully most of us are aware that he's Jewish, yes? When I say the name Rustem Umerov, Does that ring a bell, Rev?
No.
So Rustem Umerov was just promoted by Zelensky to become Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, which is essentially the Joint Chief of Staff of Ukraine. Now, why does this matter? Why should we know his name, which I can barely pronounce, Rustem Umerov? Because, Rev, Rustem Umerov is Muslim and of Crimean Tatar origin, a predominantly Muslim ethnic group native to Crimea. So a Muslim was just appointed to the highest position in Ukraine's military by the most heroic president in the world, who also happens to be proudly Jewish. I hope that's sinking in. It's a very different story from the hate rage conflict that everybody has rightly been outraged and disgusted by in Israel-Palestine. You see, Rev, I've said it before, and I hope I'm right about this. Trump, Putin, Xi, Bibi, MBS, and the Ayatollah hate Ukraine because Ukraine is definitive proof that Muslims and Jews can and do and are united in the existential threat against fascism, which is the political force that is uniting all evil regimes, from Xi and Un's communism to Putin and Trump's Christian nationalism to Bibi's Kahanism and to Ayatollah and MBS's tyrannical political Islam. So that's just, Rev, that's how I'm reading this. I think we should all really remember the miracle and the beautiful miracle that is a democratic Ukraine, and why on Putin's birthday, let's remember Putin's birthday, October 7th, the world's eyes were no longer looking at Ukraine. Rev, I have wished you a happy new year, but more importantly, before I go, I want to wish Keepin' It Real an even happier 20 years. Because while I love other legendary black democracy defending men who host daily shows, especially Don Lemon and Roland Martin, I would still implore both to study this show and to implement the parts of this show which their otherwise excellent shows lack, which is what you have been doing here for 20 years, and which I very sadly only discovered around summer of last year. And specifically what I would implore every other so-called pro-democracy, so-called content creator to follow your lead on, Rev, is to allow their audiences to speak with the host, not for one comment, but for an extended dialogue, not to debate obvious anti-democracy trolls, but to do what you do here every day, Rev, which is to engage good faith pro-democracy listeners who might disagree with you or seek clarity with you on an issue in good faith and in respectful dialogue. No one in media, I've said this before, and this is why I go on your reel, I guess, but it needs to be said a lot. No one comes close to pursuing the actual democratic engagement with their audience that you have made the main feature of this program for 20 years. And that refusal of so many podcasters, influential creators, or daily show hosts to directly engage us in good faith for free and not based on a pay-to-play thing as Lemon does. And I don't knock him for it, but this is why Americans are so distrustful of news sources and why you're so critical to democracy, Rev Sharpton, and Keepin' It Real and National Action Network. Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that, and this 20th anniversary is January 30th. We've been on 20 years. I said when I came on, and I said 20 years later, that we have to stop speaking for people that we don't speak to. That's why I keep it real every day, listening to people, whether I agree or not. But I think we have too many people that talk at our people that never listen to them. It may not be as sophisticated as you think they should be or as well-versed as they should be. But I've found in these 20 years, some of them make more sense than we do. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
that I want to end.
Dallas.
He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
Go take it down.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and shopping. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the Black church, how we deal with Black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass Black march, Black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all no King's marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C. We do two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to paper for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attendance convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people we came alive. Now we have to keep it real.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And of course, you can go on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And again, don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday, with everything going on from Minneapolis to Venezuela. I've got to have some of these senators and Congress people, calling back nothing's on my board, and Congress people on the show to hold them accountable. And I think that we definitely need to deal with that. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Rufus in Savannah, Georgia. Rufus, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
All right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing by the grace of God. I'm still here. I was wondering. I wanted to make a little statement to you and observations I made, and I don't. And if I'm wrong, I like to admit when I'm wrong, right? And I tell you, I don't agree with her about nothing, because I think she been real bitter, and she been real toxic. I'm talking about that Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay, over here, just to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't agree with her. I think she's been real. I think she's been real bitter and hateful when she first. But I noticed something about her And when I'm wrong about somebody, I'd like to kind of make it right. I believe that whether she is or not. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Whether she is or not, whether she is or not, I'm not the one to judge that. But I got a feeling about her that she's serious. She believes that she is serious about her faith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm saying this is what, even though my spirit don't agree with her on a lot of things, because I think she was real. I think she was real hateful towards a lot of people. But what I picked up from her from a while ago, and it really ain't all about the Epstein thing to me. But what I had picked up about her a while ago, and I guess just me from being from Georgia and all, and I kind of been around a lot of white people and all kinds of different kind of people in Georgia because I was raised in Georgia. Now I came up in New York too because I didn't told you about I live in New York too, but I noticed a while back when she made a statement on one of those shows, and I could tell that she got her feelings about it when she said it, and I had never heard none of these evangelicals say it like she said it. She said, "Donald Trump is my president, but my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ." I ain't never heard none of them evangelicals sort of like put Donald Trump below their faith. You know what I'm saying? They always try to make excuses for Donald Trump. But I noticed something about her, whether she is a genuine Christian, I can't judge nobody on that. But I feel it's something in my spirit that feels that she's serious about her faith. And God done showed that woman something. I'm hoping that it's some kind of way you can reach out to her, maybe get her off the record. But God done showed that woman something about Donald Trump.
Well, let me say this. I don't choose to judge people, and I'm not going to judge her. I do think what she is. I didn't interrupt you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Whatever her motive is, or whether she's sincere or not, I don't know. But I do know, as you said, and I agree with you, she said a lot of things, did a lot of things that was very harmful. But she's saying things now that are very helpful. And I think that we ought to accept what she's saying in the sense of saying to others that have been duped and gone along with harmful things with Trump that maybe they ought to listen to her. And she's got to live with whether she's sincere or not. I can only go by what she's saying. And I think what she's saying is very helpful because she was so much in his corner that he can't make that look right. So again, I'm not going to guess her motivation, but I'm going to lift her articulation. Let's put it that way. But thank you for your call, and I think you hit it right on the head. Let me go to Fred in Milwaukee. Fred, you keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Fred there?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, yeah.
Okay, hey. A couple of things. I called before. I told you, for 25 years, I was involved in law enforcement. 7 years, I was in internal affairs here in Milwaukee. Things that they have to look at. One, did this officer put himself in harm's way? I haven't seen the video, but, from hearing people talking about it, you can't stop a 4,000-pound vehicle with a bullet. And if you do shoot somebody in a moving vehicle, that vehicle is a target, and it's going to hit someplace. It's going to hit somebody or possibly kill somebody else. So you have a problem with law enforcement that, when it comes to their commands, if you don't listen, their first reaction is deadly force. and it's not necessary. So things that we may not get, we need to get, we're Congress or whatever. What are the rules of engagement, and what type of training did these ICE agents have when dealing with an urban community? There's a difference. That's the same thing with, it was an article in the paper over a month or so, this special unit that the Secretary of War is trying to develop for the National Guard. And like you were warning the people, yeah, they want that conflict with the snowballs and everything so they can use it as an excuse to deploy them in these cities. So these are things that, because I can't see the U.S. attorney prosecuting this agent for anything, because basically they're running around doing whatever because there's no oversight, no scrutiny, the supervision, we don't know where it is, and then we don't know the background of these people. Do they have a history of abuse? Have they been in shootings before? So there's a lot of things and questions that got to be answered. And then the last thing I'm just going to say, you made a comment earlier about shooting at tires. Officers are not trained to shoot at tires. That's in the movie. They're trained to shoot center mass at a person, and then at a vehicle, you have to articulate that your life is in danger. But if you put yourself in danger, then there's a problem with that. You just can't shoot at vehicles, and you have
Now, let me ask you this before we run out of time. Are the ICE agents trained like regular law enforcement? Is the same training there that we would expect out of the Minneapolis police or even the FBI? Is that the same training ICE agents get?
No, you have different agencies that have different training, information, training. That goes back even like with George Floyd. Milwaukee had training information about positional asphyxiation, where when you handcuff somebody, you're supposed to turn them on their side right away because your lungs can't expand. But when he sat there, I cried when I saw that. My mother lived 2 blocks away from there in Minneapolis at the time. So there's things that officers, they make up excuses. Different training goes on in different departments. It's not uniform. It's not uniform.
We're out of time. But call me tomorrow because you're very informative. Thank you for calling. Let me thank all of you that called in, you that listened in. When you called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.